You may know him as something else. Greatest quarterback in Minnesota go for history.
This is not on Tom Brady. Tom is doing exactly what he should do. This is on the NFL. They never expected this to happen. That's what you have to do most of the time in that situation. You mean to tell me you're not going to play this guy? He's going to be your starting quarterback. He hasn't played in a year and a half. They're not the same team. Now we're seeing preseason football in September here.
The greatest quarterback in Minnesota go for history joins me now. You may know him as something else, but when I was a kid, those high white socks, loved them. The great Tony Dungy. Hey, loved them. I wore my socks high. You, Michael Cooper. The high white socks got me back in the day, Coach. I've told you this before, man. How are you?
They were in, and I have to tell you, my hero, Dan, at that time was Quinn Buckner. I was a year behind Quinn, and I wanted to go to a place that was going to let me play football and basketball because I thought I was going to be a basketball star. None of the other Big Ten schools would. Minnesota said, you can do it. I played 1 year on the basketball team and then got hurt and just concentrated on football. But the high white socks were in at that point, no doubt about it.
The great Benny Sierra told me you were a fantastic basketball player. He's friends of my dad, friends of your high school coach, said you were a terrific basketball player.
I had fun and enjoyed it, and I wish I could have hung in there one more year because my sophomore year we got Michael Thompson, and then we got Kevin McHale and Ray Williams, and we had a pretty good team coming. But by then I was kind of immersed into football, and I think I made the right choice.
You think, really? Oh, okay. I mean, I think maybe you did too. Michael watches this show every day. He comes on about once a month. He
really?
That's what he says anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember him. I remember he had the puka shells going. I remember those teams. Ray Williams had the big old thighs on them.
Yeah.
I remember.
We recruited Michael. He was from the Bahamas, obviously. He came up from Miami in the winter to a basketball game at Minnesota dressed like he's in Miami. He's crying, freezing to death. I said, well, we'll never see this kid again. I don't know how we got him there, but he came the next year.
Ooh, that's funny. Hey, let's talk about the Colts. Somebody said the other day, hey, Danny Dimes is going to get Brian Daboll fired because all of a sudden Danny Dimes is really good over here. What's been the difference, in your opinion, between Indy Daniel Jones and New York Daniel Jones?
It's the surroundings, Dan. It's the system and the people around. I was up at training camp this year. Coach Steichen told me we've got a lot of weapons. We just need that point guard who can get the ball to the shooters at the right time, and Daniel's done that all camp. Well, that's who he is. And it's funny because the Colts are doing so well this year. And I think a major point for me, it's ironic. We were at the Giants. We had the Giants-Kansas City game Sunday night. So I'm in there. A year ago at this time, we had the Giants against Cincinnati. Daniel is getting criticized like mad. And I talked to him before the game, during his warm-ups. I said, hey, man, hang in there. You're doing a great job. Ignore the noise. This is not on you. You don't have protection. Your line is banged up. You're not running the ball. You just do what you do, and you're going to be fine. On the other side of the field, Cincinnati's defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, is getting crushed too because they have no players. They put all the money on offense. They've got some injuries. Cincinnati can't stop anybody. And those two guys have come here now and shown, hey, it's not all. Don't listen to all the noise, okay? It's not all what people think. Lou Anarumo is a very good defensive coach. Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, and they're showing it.
I want to go. I want to stay with Amaruta. What is the difference between what he has done in Indy and where Indy was in the previous years schematically?
Yes, Lou is very aggressive. He believes in man coverage. He believes in blitzing. Gus Bradley, and I love Gus Bradley, and Gus was more my style of coach. Hey, we're going to just line up. We're going to play zone defense. We're going to be better, more active, better tacklers. We're going to win with fundamentals. Lou turns the guys loose, and I think they appreciate that. I was there, as I say, at camp, and the guys, hey, we're going to be more aggressive. We're going to come after people. They're feeling better about utilizing their skills. Not to say one's a better way to do it than other, but they've identified with Lou, and they believe in him, and you see that on the field.
I got to ask you about a couple things. You're in a unique position for this. People accused me of this because of my long-standing time at IU when I was broadcasting Big Ten games for ESPN. Brady's a high profile. A lot of people saying conflict of interest. From your perspective, how should networks, how should teams, the league handle a situation like this? I'm sure people say you tell the, I don't know, maybe they don't. You tell the Colts stuff. People always did that with me and IU.
This is not on Tom Brady. Tom is doing exactly what he should do, and he's following the rules. This is on the NFL. They never expected this to happen. No one would think, well, an owner is going to end up being a broadcaster. But Dan, and I know, we get access to things that most people don't. I'm on the field last Sunday night, and I'm asking Patrick Mahomes about how they're going to attack the Giants and what they're going to do and who the better players are and who isn't. I'm asking him about his teammates. I may ask him about the backup quarterback or whoever. I'm getting all this information talking to him. That no owner can do that. No owner can go down on the sideline and talk to another team's players and get inside information. So that should not happen. The Raiders have an advantage now because Tom is allowed to do that. It's in the rules. What they should have done is said, hey, this is a special situation, and Tom, you can broadcast the games, but you can't have the access that normal broadcasters do. And I know they stopped him from going to practice and sitting in the production meetings, but you can still go down on the field and get plenty of information. And I don't think that's right. I think that is definitely an advantage. It is a conflict of interest. And Tom is wrong if he doesn't use it. If I can go down there and talk, and then now next week we're playing the Giants, absolutely I should use that information.
How would you have handled that as a coach?
Well, if the rule said you could do it, then I would utilize it if Tom was my boss. Now, if I was on the other end, I would have to say, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you because we might play your team down the road, or I'm not going to have any of my players talk to you so you can get an idea of who our good players are on the back. Maybe you're going to sign this guy to your practice squad because our players tell you he's really a good player and he's a young, up-and-coming guy. No, I'm sorry, we're not going to talk to you.
That's what I've said. I would simply say, I would tell my team, here's the reason, and here's what I believe we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do. But so in your experience, Brady's a big-time personality. People want to get close, all that kind of stuff. Is that the norm? Like, do you think coaches are doing that, or do you think coaches
are? Absolutely. I've had coaches tell me things that I use on the broadcast that I would never say to another announcer or anybody else. But we have relationships. They talk to me, and those players are going to talk to Tom Brady. Absolutely. So I just think really the NFL should have handled this before it ever happened. Now you have to take matters into your own hands and tell your team, hey, we may play the Raiders down the road. And we just can't, this for our best, and nothing against Tom, we just can't do this for the interest of our team.
And there's got to be a certain amount of in Tom Brady's mind that understands that, right? I mean, he played, Belichick didn't talk. Brady's got to understand that, right?
He knows, and it's just, but he's trying to do his job. Now, he is a professional, right, and that helps you when you broadcast. If I know what Patrick Mahomes is thinking and who they want to attack on the other side, I can be more intelligent on the broadcast and say, oh, I think this is going to happen. They're going to go after this guy. He's a weakness. Yes, you want to do that because you want to be the best at what you do. So, again, I don't blame Tom at all, but it's just now to think that, okay, I own the Raiders. I'm a part owner, and we're going to play this game, and I've got information that I got as a broadcaster, but I shouldn't use it because, no, that's not going to happen. Of course you're going to try to win.
Well, talking about, you've mentioned Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people, they're dead. Even I admire Tirico and Collingsworth for saying, look, this just isn't the same, however you want to slice it. Where are you at with where the Chiefs are right now?
This is what happens, Dan, in a normal situation. They went to 7 straight AFC championship games. They went to 5 Super Bowls. So they've been very good for a long time. Well, what happens? You have to start paying your players more. You can't keep them all, so you lose players. you're drafting 29, 30, 31, 32 every year. You aren't getting that iconic player. Your players are getting a little older, but you're still winning, so you stay with them because we can still do it. Well, now you got a team of 28, 29, 31-year-olds, 36-year-olds in the case of Travis Kelce, and they're not the same as when they're 25, 26. And you haven't been able to draft that. You haven't picked 10th to pick Patrick Mahomes in a long time. So it just happens. And they've got championship heart, championship mentality. I still think they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're not the same team.
I want to go, you mentioned Kelce. You know, the distractions are crazy. Guys are doing podcasts, in the season. Is the entertainment, is that what guys should be doing? You know, the league does prioritize entertainment, and you got to find a balance on it. Have they found, or are they still searching for the right balance of entertainment and football?
Well, I think it's different now. These young people, they grew up with that. If I was coaching or if I was playing 40 years ago and someone said, okay, do a podcast once a week and do this, you know, it would kill me. But they're used to doing it. My kids are on it all the time. And I've got a son who's in high school now, and he's posting his highlights every week and, doing all these things on TikTok. I would have never thought of. They can do it, but you have to be able to compartmentalize, and you have to be able to still focus on the important things. I think Andy Reid does that with the Chiefs very well, but it's a fine line to walk.
What is we got a lot of young coaches in the NFL now. What's the biggest mistake that a young coach would make with his team, in your opinion?
Well, I just have this bone to pick all the time. I don't understand why you don't play your guys in the preseason and get them ready to play. Chuck Noll used to tell us, you prepare to play, you get ready. Opening day is huge. What I'm seeing now, we're seeing preseason football in September here. Derrick Henry last night fumbles for the third game in a row. Okay, well, I don't think Derrick Henry's a fumbler, but he really hasn't been hit in 6 months. And now you come out in the game start and you fumble the ball a couple of times. We had the Minnesota Vikings 2 weeks ago. J.J. McCarthy, they love him. He's going to be a good quarterback. The last game he played, the last time he was on the field was in the national championship game 2 years ago. You mean to tell me you're not going to play this guy? He's going to be your starting quarterback. He hasn't played in a year and a half, and you don't give him 15 plays in the preseason to at least get the field back? I think we're running scared. And I think these young coaches get told, if we get this guy hurt, it's going to be a catastrophe. So just be safe on top of everything. And we don't get our guys prepared to play.
When a guy like Burrow gets hurt, this is insulting to everybody else, but he's kind of the franchise the way the NFL is set up. What's it like inside a locker room? What's it? I know you were the big, next man up, and I'm with that, but damn, when Peyton went down at Indiana, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
What's it like for a team mentally to overcome all that?
It is very, very tough when you lose your best player. And the coach's mantra is going to be, well, everybody else has to pick up the slack. So the other 21 guys have to play a little bit better. And that's great. And hopefully you can do that. But when you lose that guy, it's difficult. Now, every now and then, the next guy will catch fire. Trent Green was the guy in St. Louis in the greatest show on turf. He gets hurt. Kurt Warner comes in. Nobody's heard of Kurt Warner, and he becomes that iconic guy. So sometimes it happens, but most of the time you take a step back and everybody else has to pick up the slack.
Kurt Warner. All right, here's what I say, Coach. For every Kurt Warner, there's 30, 40 teams that got their ass beat because
200 teams. Every Kurt Warner, there's 200. Oh, we didn't quite get it done. Yeah, no, it's tough. You look at the Colts, great example. They're going to Super Bowls. Peyton Manning gets hurt. They go 2-14 or whatever, and they're not the same team. They get Andrew Luck in the draft. They become a playoff team again. That's what you have to do most of the time in that situation. Cincinnati's going to have a tough time this year.
When I was on my radio show, people would discuss who's going to be the backup to Peyton. I said, look, I get it. A lot of great players, but it doesn't matter. because they're not going to be able to achieve the goals which in your day were the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just what it was, period.
And most of the time, you have to do things differently. We had an offense that we could run with Peyton Manning, whoever that goes in, whether it's Brock Hewer, Jim Sorgi, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to do things a little bit different to play to that guy's strength. You're not going to be the same team. Cincinnati is not going to be the same offense now without Joe Burrow. They have to adjust and adapt, and it's not going to be as good.
Coach, I do have to ask you. You're a very religious man. You're very, very, very public. What did you think of the Charlie Kirk Memorial? What did you think of the showing? I looked at it and I thought, man, I see Jesus there. I see Christ. I see the Holy Spirit there. I mean, that's what I saw when I saw that. I got goosebumps now. What did you think?
That's what it was, and I think people were energized, and I was very appreciative of it. Take all the politics out of it. Just say, we're going to honor this man's life. We're going to talk about what Christ would say and what he wants to see. And I thought that was done. You're never going to take politics out totally, but I thought the gist of it was exactly what it should be.
How'd the NFL handle that, in your opinion?
I don't know. And, it's really not my concern. The NFL is a business. They're trying to make money. They're trying to remain down the middle. That's probably what they should do. I just think as Christians, we have to take the forefront and we have to go the way we need to go, regardless of what the NFL or anybody else does.
I hope it continues. Hey, Coach, I can't let you – I got to ask you a couple things. Who do you like? Who you watch – I'm going to go quarterback here. Who do you like? As a young quarterback, you say, man, that guy, you mentioned McCarthy, JJ. Who do you like?
Well, there's a couple of young guys who have come in and made some things happen. Michael Penix played terrible last week, but I really like him and the way they're going in Atlanta. I just think Brock Purdy is a solid, good young quarterback who's got a great future. The rookies that come in, the young guys, it's getting with the right team. Probably the most dynamic guy, and I didn't really expect it, but Jaden Daniels has injected some energy into that Washington franchise. Those guys believe in him. He's super skilled. He can throw the ball. He's mobile. I like where the Commanders are going with Daniels.
Hey, last thing, Coach. Why didn't you ever run for public office?
Hunter Smith, who punted for us with the Colts, is in the legislature in Indiana now, doing a wonderful job. But that is a job. You're talking about having headaches as a coach. Now, that's a job that would give you headaches. I'm very pleased to just be able to do my thing from the sideline, to say what I want to say and inject my beliefs. But doing it in that public sphere with everybody shooting arrows at you, I don't know if I'd want that.
You've had people come at you for views. I mean, I remember when you're like, wait, I just said what Obama said about the fatherless problem in the African-American community. Obviously, as a coach, you had people coming at you regardless if you want. Which is more vicious? The sporting world or people whose views? Oh,
I think the political world. I actually had a conversation. I was on a panel with Colin Powell many, many years ago. And I said, man, you're a tremendous guy. Why don't you run for president? And he said, no, absolutely not. He said, because I can say something right now and people look at it and say, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Or they'll say that's not a good idea. But if I run for president and say the same thing, 50% of the people have to say it's a terrible idea before they even hear what it is. And that's where we are. So, yeah, no, those politicians, I take my hat off to them.
Isn't that sad? Because you use in my opinion, they have to disagree with you. It's not that they want to. It's not that they do disagree with you. They have to disagree with you is perfectly said, Coach. It's unbelievable. It is.
And that's sad. That's where we are as a country right now, and it is sad.
Coach, keep doing your thing. I really appreciate you coming on. Go Colts. Hey, last thing. Is what the Colts are doing for real? Is what they're doing for real? My guys, are New York guys. They tell me, week 5, you're going to be tired of Daniel Jones. They're haters, Coach. Is this real, what we're seeing out of it?
Daniel is for real, and there'll be a test now. Going to L.A., the Rams have a very good team. If the Rams had not gotten those field goals blocked, we'd be saying they're the best team in the NFC right now. They'd be undefeated and just knocked off Philadelphia. But I think the Colts are going to go out there, move the ball, show them that they are for real. So this will be the test, but I'm a believer.
There you go. That's what I needed. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you always.
Great to talk to you.
There he goes. The best quarterback in the history of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. You can look it up. You're telling me right now, no, he was a defensive back. No. You got to know your history. You got to know your history. I was a huge fan of Tony Dungy as a quarterback.